Hi, my name is Shania Hettiarachi and I wrote a book. I wrote a novel. I wrote a fantasy YA and I am hoping to publish it soon. In the meantime, if you want to write a book, I have some tips because I basically figured this out from scratch with the help of some YouTube personalities. I will do another video on which YouTube has helped me the most another day. But for today, I just wanted to throw out some tips that might help you if you are wanting to write. I'm gonna stay straight so that I don't annoy you guys. Okay, number one, read. If you're not reading, that's where I would start. If you're not a reader and you want to write something, um, for whatever reason, you want to write memoirs, or write something for family, I would still read. You don't have to read fiction. You can read nonfiction. There's plenty of that out there. I would read in the genre that you want to write in. Memoirs, things of that nature. If you are trying to be a fiction writer, have at it. There is plenty for you to read, and you should be reading. You should be binging Audible books. You should be going at it. Yeah, that's, if you don't have the time to read, I would figure it out. I would read. Stop being on TikTok. I don't know. I'm sure not everyone is on TikTok, but there's whatever it is that you're doing. If you have a commute, if you're doing anything for 5 minutes, read for that 5 minutes instead, because that would be important to your career if that's something you want to do. Okay. Number two, I would say really think about what it is you want to write. That's how you write a book. I know when I first started writing, I was very hung up because I was 13 at the time. I was very hung up on the idea of writing all the books that I had in my brain down in order of in which it came to my brain. The reality is that writing a book is a long process. It takes a long time. It takes a lot longer than it takes for you to imagine it. So I would, from the 5 or 6 stories that you have in your brain, if you are someone who has that many in your brain, then you should definitely sit down and think about what it is, which one sounds the most fun to you, which one sounds the most interesting to you. That's number one. And then number two, which one you know a lot about. I made the mistake of starting writing, well, I guess it is a mistake because my readers won't know how much what a lack of knowledge I had on the subjects that I was writing, even though it was fiction. I still had a lack of knowledge on like a lot of the subject material, and I think that's kind of cheating your readers. I would read up on whatever it is that I want to write first. So yeah, whatever it is that you want to write, which you think you will enjoy writing, because writing is supposed to be an enjoyable process, and also whatever it is that you can sustain, you know, that you're getting knowledge on all the time, or that you would be interested in reading about. That's two things. If you don't have ideas, yeah, then the reading will help with that. If you don't have ideas, then you're not looking in the right places. There's a couple of things that you're thinking a little too deeply about it, and you're trying to be very business minded about it and be very like, what's gonna attract the most amount of attention. Writing isn't one of those businesses. It could be, I guess, but it's not. If you're looking for the most the books with the most audience, then that would be romance. In which case, if I were going to write a romance, I would be watching romance movies. I would be watching romance anime. I would be reading romance books. I would be consuming a lot of romance, in order to write a romance book. But I wouldn't go about it that way. I will go about it a whole different way. And just look at what it is that you're reading, whatever it is that you're writing, because that's what you will be most able to write yourself, and that's where you should be getting your ideas from. Yeah, so whatever you're already consuming, that's where you should be getting your ideas from. Another place that you get your ideas from is from life. I would consider really being in focus with your own feelings. And in that sense, I mean, obviously not everybody can be very in focus with their feelings, but I think like what makes you laugh, what makes you giggle, what makes you sad, what makes you angry, that type of thing. Really note those things down in your head. When that happens, remove yourself. Like, for example, this is not therapy, okay? This is how to write a book. But if something happens to you, makes you upset for a second, it's a little helpful too, because you might be able to, like, remove yourself and calm down about it too. But at the same time, also remove yourself enough just to be like, okay, this made me sad, this is something I can write about. Because it makes me sad. These are things that are happening when I get upset. These are my bodily reactions, this is my emotional reaction, and this, whatever it is that triggered me, is what it is that made me sad. Keep that in mind for when you want to write, because that's how you're going to get those emotions out of your readers too. So what did I say? Reading, choosing the story that you want to go with, and then where to find that idea if you don't have it already. And there was something, and then if you're stuck in your book, and you can't finish it, I'm sorry, you have to finish it. That first book has to get finished. It could be the crappiest ending ever in a book, but it has to get done. That is the main goal when you first start writing, is finish that first book. Now, keep in mind, writing is not set in stone. It used to be. It isn't anymore. It's not set in stone. You can go back and fix it. You can, but you just need to finish it first. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret about writing. It's all a part of the process. There's not a single writer, not one single writer in the entire world, in the history of mankind, ever get it done on the first try. I can guarantee you, for sure. Okay? Now, usually you write the whole thing out and it's just word vomit, throw up on the page. It does not look good. Nobody else can look at it. Nobody else can come near it. Nobody else should be breathing near it. I don't know why you tried to show it to anybody. It's not gonna be good anyway, but finish it. Then you go back all the way to page 1 and read it. Read it right through. There will be mistakes. Do not be surprised. You are not perfect. Read it. Just keep reading it. Don't try to fix it. Do not try to fix it. You're wasting your time. Okay? Read it. Then put it away. Go about your business. Watch the Netflix show that you wanted to binge. Catch up on that anime. Do whatever it is that you do in your free time. Read all them books. Do whatever you're supposed to do in your free time. And enjoy yourself for about a month. I hate to tell you, it's a process. It's tiring, and it is a process. It can make you very, very I'm frustrated. I want to finish this book, but that is what it is. Get used to that. There is also another tip for writers: get used to the process of waiting. Yeah. Okay. That being said, then you come back to your book. Then, okay, what was it that I didn't like about it? Were there any parts other than random grammar mistakes that I had a problem with? And even before that, even before grammar mistakes, because we don't care about no grammar right now. Grammar's gonna suck because you're still writing, still inserting things. If you fix your grammar now and then you change things, what is going on, right? Yeah. So no, we don't change grammar right now. Right now we're still writing story. You go to the climax. You make the climax crazy. Okay? As climactic as possible. That's what you're doing at the climax. You're making, first of all, okay, realize that if your book does not have a climax, it has to be there. Create a climax. Climax is like in the middle of the book. It has to either have a really high or really low or something, but something colossal has to happen somewhere in the middle or a little bit further down past the middle. Okay, that's when you should have written the climax. If it's not there in your first time you wrote this, because it's not even really a first draft, it's kind of a mock-up or like a bare bones, like kind of a sinewy outline at the moment. I don't know. But yeah, I would seriously consider first just adding a climax if you don't have one. Okay, climax is necessary. Make the climax climaxy, and then from there make the end a banger. Like really put your effort into the end. Climax is written, climax, still put 100%. I'm talking about 100%, okay, on the climax. Then I'm talking about like 5 billion% on the ending. Okay, now that doesn't mean that the ending has to really pull everything together if it's not the end of the series or anything. But if it's that book, then yeah, the ending has to be pretty good. Okay, then once you have those two things down, go back to the beginning. Okay, now you know a little something about what's happening in the climax, what's happening in the end. So now you can write the beginning. You guys are so you don't understand how fortunate you are that I am here to tell you this, because I struggled with this. I struggled with it. Yeah, and then you have your first draft. Once you've done that, congratulations, you have a first draft. Then you read it through, and you guessed it, you don't change anything. You leave it for a month and get used to waiting. Then you go about your business doing other things. Hey, if you have another idea, write that down. Maybe sketch it out a little bit. I don't know, like throw a little flavor here and there. Do other things, because you will have other things to do. Go run a marathon. I don't know. Do something else for a month, okay? Then you come back. Then you read it again. And then you fix everything that needs to be fixed in terms of plot holes, because there will be the plot holes in your book. There will be no connection, because we really enhanced the climax the first time, the ending, and then went back and enhanced the beginning. So now those two parts, in between those two parts, that's your job this time around. Enhance the plot lines. Like, not the plot lines, the plot holes. Enhance the plot holes. And then there will be smaller plot holes. Okay, because you will not really completely get rid of them. I hate to say this. I'm so sorry. This is very stressful. I know that this is going to be very stressful, and I know it's going to put you through the ringer, but bear with me. They do get smaller though. That's good. Smaller plot holes. That's fantabulous. From there, oh yeah. So there's plot holes. So what we're doing is tying everything together. Tying the beginning and the climax and the end together, and so it flows, and there's nothing contradictory. Or if you want to confuse your readers, make it uber contradictory wherever you want it to be contradictory, and really pull that together. Okay, and then you leave it alone and you move on with your life. Okay. This is why writing books takes a long time. Okay, it takes a long time, because I'm saying, if you go to even try attempt one time to correct a single grammatical mistake. Okay, you can correct maybe one, maybe two, okay? But if you go further than that, I am telling you, you will burn out and you will not want to rewrite this book, because there will come a time where you have to correct grammatical mistakes and you won't know what grammar is at one point and you won't be able to see the book. So don't do none of that between the first three rereads, okay? Don't do none of that. Then on the fourth reread, remember we read it the first time, we put it away, we came back, we enhanced the front, no, the middle, the back, the front, and then we came back and we did the plot holes, and now we're coming back, and now we're gonna try to do a readability read, okay? We're gonna try to make it as readable as possible, okay? That's what we're doing here. Readable as possible. And then you have something to work with, okay? Okay, come back for part 2.